Formula One car regulations are an ever-changing thing. You can go from one year to the next, and the moment you see the cars on TV, they can look just slightly different to almost unrecognizable from what they were once before. We've seen all different kinds of cars over the years, ones with huge wheels, 6 wheels, 4 wheels, 3 wheels, and even 2 wheels. The FIA are the ones in charge of making these regulations for F1 cars. Oftentimes they can make minor changes and sometimes major ones each year, and just a couple years ago they introduced the 2022 regulations, which had F1 cars turn from this to this. All for the purpose to promote safer, closer racing and make more entertaining F1 races. And these regulations have done exactly that. F1 cars run so close to each other with constant battles, overtakes are endless, and on-track action has been simply unmatched. But unfortunately, that's just what the FIA wants you to think, as well as British media, Liberty Media, some people in the F1 community, F1 themselves, and of course, the most devious of them all, F1 kids. Do not let their smiles fool you. All of these guys want you to believe that the new regulations are absolutely amazing, but truth is, they're not. Because what if I told you that these new F1 car regulations that we have now are actually completely useless? Now wait, put the gun down, relax, this is just a video about regulations, relax. Okay, I wouldn't go as far as to say that these regulations that we have right now are useless, but I can confidently say that they've had such a minuscule impact compared to what was promised by F1, and it's actually more disappointing than you think. And it all has to do with weight and size. Holy shit, are the cars big. Let me take you guys back to 2012. I was still pretty young at the time, not really, baby levels of young, but just young enough to call Formula One the car racing channel. Do not ask me how I came up with that. As I watched the car racing channel over and over again on my TV, it was amazing, which probably had to do with 2012 being one of the greatest F1 seasons of all time. Having amazing racing and of course, the legendary grid that gave us those moments. Like, you just know this grid was legendary since this was the time where Romain Grosjean was actually a good driver. This was him in 2012. He was absolutely on fire. And then fast forward a couple years later, here's him on fire, but as you can see, in a completely different way. But what particularly stood out for me in the season were the cars. They looked absolutely terrifying. Obviously, the early 2010 F1 cars may not be the best looking ones out there, like the 2014 penis nose cars, but in 2012, the cars looked like monsters. Take the RB8. If you had that thing roaring behind you at 250 kilometers an hour, you would shit yourself. These cars with their box noses, narrow cube-shaped rear wings, and rectangular build with sharp angles may not look so good, but they looked like hornets. They were sharp, light, fast, and made you want to shit your pants. And with how amazing the 2012 season was, many thought that the FIA would keep these regulations and continue to further improve it from there. But the year now is 2024. Things are dramatically different. When we take a look at the current F1 cars, we can see straight away that they are so much bigger. And I mean so much bigger. Like, these cars are straight up chunky. Compared to the 2012 cars that weigh at 640 kilograms, the 2024 F1 cars now weigh 798 kilograms. Like, what is that even equal to? Like 3 Discord mods? The keywords here are weight and size. Since the latest F1 cars are heavier, they are also so much bigger. While the width of F1 cars hasn't dramatically changed, its length certainly has. The 2024 F1 cars are roughly 1.13 meters longer compared to the cars in 2012. When we first take a look at an F1 car, the first thing we notice is obviously how it looks, and I can't help but say that the 2024 F1 cars just straight up look fat, slow, and chunky. Although they still do have that very modernized and sophisticated look to them, which a lot of you guys may like. Especially the side pods and water slide design at the back end of the car, which is just that is beautiful. Looking at the current F1 cars alone, they look pretty awesome, but the moment you put them alongside the 2012 cars, you can't help but notice that the latest F1 cars just straight up look like dropped dough. Compared to the 2012 cars that look like hornets, the 2024 cars look like butterflies. They might seem beautiful, but they lack that fierce and fast mobile look. The RB8 looked like an absolute beast that everyone was afraid of. And then take a look at the RB20. The only reason why people are scared of that car is not because of its design, but because Max Verstappen is behind the wheel. Sure, you can say that the 2024 cars look better than the ones in 2012, which I can completely understand. But if you are going to say that this looks better than the F2000 F2004 or the F2008, to the people saying this, please seek a doctor immediately, as something has happened to your eyes. But let's cut the bullshit. F1 cars can look like Reliant Robins and I'd still watch the sport. Because what truly matters is whether these new cars are entertaining or not. The new regulations brought upon a goal to allow for more exciting and entertaining F1 races. And what makes entertaining races? Overtakes. Overtakes fucking suck. Weight and size are once again the main villain. The larger dimensions of the latest cars, which can be on par with the Ford F-150 or your mom, can take so much more space that overtakes are increasingly difficult. Take Baku 2017. From a subjective point of view, the cars look significantly smaller compared to what we have now. Daniel Ricciardo even pulled off a dive bomb, overtaking 3 cars into one corner while being alongside 2 other cars. This just had me go, holy shit, how did bro do that? Then fast forward to Baku 2023. If Daniel Ricciardo wanted to try that exact same overtake, he would have to pray to Italian Jesus to not end up with a collision.
Over the left.
But he's going to try and dive down the inside, they have crashed!
While the width of these cars might seem like the biggest perpetrator behind drivers not being able to overtake, since they take up so much of the track that if you replace the Formula 1 cars with pickup trucks, no one could tell the difference, the actual enemies here are weight and length. These make the current cars less nimble. Don't know what that means? Bam! Quick and light in movement or action. Agile. The 2017 cars were lighter and slightly shorter, allowing for Daniel to pull off that beautiful move. Don't even get me started on 2012. The cars were so nimble, having nearly 160 kilograms less weight, and are so much shorter. This allowed the cars to be so agile, allowing drivers to pull off moves like these. Now let's take a look at the new cars.
Damn, this feels pretty fast.
Sluggish, fat, bulky, and your average Waffle House customer. This is how you would define the latest F1 cars in comparison to 2012. The increased length makes it difficult for drivers to get that twitchy, fast turn response of the car, and the weight certainly doesn't help. It's like comparing an Iron Man suit to the T-60 power armor from Fallout. Essentially, in overtaking, the size of the current cars already take more space on track, making gaps harder to find. And with the increased length, it reduces the nimbleness of the car, making dive bombs and fast moves rarely ever happen. And even if we did get to see some awesome moves in recent years, it takes 2 competent drivers to not crash into each other and a track big enough to accommodate the cars. Obviously, overtakes aren't the only source of entertainment. Wheel-to-wheel battles could already be enough to light up the average motorsports fan. So with the latest regulations, how do wheel-to-wheel battles compare to overtakes? Well, they're equally ass. Now I know you guys are thinking, Rick, are these regulations any good? You've been shitting on them the entire video. Did the FIA not get anything right? And well, they actually did get something right. Safety. Let me bring you Roman Grosjean. A couple years ago, he decided to cosplay as a fireball, and while the 2020 cars were safe, they were not safe enough. If he had the exact same accident with the 2024 cars, he would come out unscathed. Zhou Guanyu, George Russell, Mick Schumacher, Lance Stroll, unfortunately, have come out a-okay after life-threatening crashes. Safety has been a priority of these regulations, bringing in such a huge improvement. But that meant increased size and reduced agility comes with the added safety, meaning drivers who dare to partake in wheel-to-wheel battles end up with a collision almost every time. Take, you know, the China Sprint. Oh my god, there's finally a battle on track. Holy shit, it's Alonso versus Sainz. This is absolutely insane. Oh, and they bang wheels, and he dives to the inside, late braking. Oh, and Perez squeezes past, and Fernando has a puncture. What? God damn it, man. Because of these consequences, drivers now won't go for a gap as often, decreasing the amount of wheel-to-wheel battles we get to see on track. Now I know, but Rick, we've actually seen plenty of battles and overtakes with the new regulations. And honestly, to an extent, that is true. In the first 18 races of a season, with 2012 sitting right in the middle, 2022 had 5 more overtakes on average in each race compared to 2021. Which is not exactly a lot considering they changed the entire car design. But still, a lot of people believe that especially in the 2023 and 2024 season, we have seen so much more overtakes. Problem is 90% of them happen in the fucking straight. Let me bring you guys a quick comparison between China 2024 to China 2018. You have to be blind to not tell the difference.
And Romain Grosjean going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Fernando Alonso stays ahead. DRS, he's got past Raikkonen. Can he make it stick into the hairpin? There he goes again. Down that back straight. Ricciardo goes for it from a long way back. This would be sensational.
Big opportunity for Charles Leclerc, trying to make amends for losing places off the line, and he makes the pass into turn 14.
This one. And down the inside goes Max Verstappen on Lewis Hamilton. He's been caught.
With DRS trying to take the place away, Fernando Alonso can't do anything about it, won't do anything about it.
Bottas covers it off, but he can't cover it off totally. Ricciardo somehow finds a gap there.
Obviously, this is still a lot better compared to some of the races in years like 2019 and 2020. Back then, you only had a few chances to overtake, and now you can go lap after lap. But in tracks with tricky corners like Baku, Hungary, and Canada, which are tracks with the least overtakes in 2023, drivers can easily shut the door into corners, making defending an ease. But then results in overtakes just not happening, or 90% of them just end up being on the straight. A lot of F1 fans are starting to notice that even if we have gotten more overtakes and battles over the years of these new regulations, the quality of them have significantly dropped. And we've started to notice this only in 2023 and 2024. Because what if I told you that the FIA has actually reverted the progress made by the 2022 regulations, which, if you can recall, was to promote closer racing. Now, did these regulations really promote closer racing? Yes. In 2022, F1 cars ran so close to each other, the midfield was packed, top teams were battling, and shit was going ham. But there was definitely room for improvement. As I've said, the cars are too big, meaning that even if they ran close to each other, getting a move done in a tight corner can be near impossible. Back in 2012, cars can just dive in from so far back, but now cars have to be really close or even alongside to have a good chance to stick a move. Meaning that even if the cars ran close in 2022, in the years ahead they have to continue to run even closer than they already do, an improvement that is very much possible. But instead of improving the 2022 regulations to make the cars run even closer to each other, in 2023, dumbass FIA decided to lift the cars up because Lewis Hamilton was bouncing so hard in his Mercedes than Toto Wolff was bouncing on his dick. The lift generated so much more dirty air, which made it difficult for cars to follow each other, overall defeating the main purpose of the new regulations in the first place. While as of 2024, the cars still run closer than the old regulated cars, the bulkier nature of them just makes the difference so minuscule. Sure, the cars might run closer, but overtaking is also harder to pull off because, like I said before, reduced nimbleness, and let's not forget the gigantic size of the cars. Hello everyone, today I'll be drawing the 2024 F1 cars. Let's begin.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong.
Oh, and that is dough. What did I tell you guys? A lot of you know me as the man who is simply better and correct. While that may be a fact, what's also a fact is that the main priorities being closer racing, safety, and entertainment, the latest F1 cars have become extremely safe, however sacrificing their size and weight, impacting looks, overtakeability, nimbleness, and wheel-to-wheel battles. While there are a lot of flaws to the current regulations, the only thing Formula 1 can do right now is to try to improve it by first making the cars lighter, which is what we can expect in 2026. Although I have a feeling that the FIA is probably going to find a way to fuck it up. Obviously, we can't expect F1 cars to go back to their 2012 sizes because the standards for safety have significantly risen. At the end of the day, the 2012 F1 cars are a form that we will probably never see F1 cars take again. These cars were smaller but fiercer, lighter but agile, and gave a lasting impression. When you have that car screaming behind you, you can only beg for one thing. Please don't overtake me. And as for the 2024 F1 cars, that impression is relatively unchanged. Except you'll be saying, please don't eat me.